Hello and welcome to this video about a Wadia 861. You say, why do I say 861 when it says 860? Well, because it has been upgraded by the factory to the later model. The main difference being that it has those 4 chips there, the Burr-Brown PCM 1704, which are the 24-bit 96 kilohertz resistor ladder DACs, and the last good chips probably ever made, and before the Sigma Delta appeared on the scene. Why am I doing this video? Because I just bought it. I bought it for myself, and I'm selling my Wadia 16, and I just got this comment on the Wadia 16 video by another electronics guy, who said that it all wasn't necessary, all these money, and you could talk about regulators, and 3 regulators is all that's ever needed. Well, for $1,000 you could possibly get 90, maybe even 95% of this player, but not quite the remaining 5%. And why do I say that? I'm playing at the moment, I'll increase the volume, I'm playing at the moment a kilohertz tone, and on my signal analyzer over there you can see the lowest position is 0.03%. So it's 0.03 there, 0.02, 0.01. So this is 0.008%. Of course, well, let me get rid of that horrible tone. Of course, the measurements don't really tell you anything about how it's going to sound, but they do tell you about the engineering. This player sounds fine, like most Wadias do, but the good measurements tell you that the people who make it, they know what they're doing, because it takes real knowledge to get the specifications right. And how did they do it? Well, I don't know if the copper chassis, I don't know why copper chassis might be better or not, but most manufacturers do that kind of stuff in their top models, starting from, Sony to, whoever else. I think Sony was the first, and Philips. But in here they've installed this Swiss filter called Schaefer, is a company in Switzerland, and they put it in a, as you see, in a metal box, in a Faraday cage, and then the 2 toroidal transformers they also put in another cage. The servo board underneath the DAC board is also in a Faraday cage, so everything is isolated. Even the cables that are being run is just not a bunch of cables. You can see that they are sort of woven or pleated, I don't know what's the right word for it, but obviously that cancels noise traveling within cables. What else? The mechanism is still KSS-151A with the standard esoteric loader that's used on P700 transport. But the servo board is no longer P700 as it was in Wadia 16. It's something else. I'm yet to discover what it is, and if anybody out there knows, please let me know. Also, if you have a circuit diagram or manual for it, service manual, I would really appreciate for 860 or 861, because it's an American model and I'm running it on a down converter. So, well, I can work it out, but it's nicer to have a manual and be certain. In here we have a standard Wadia DigiMaster arrangement, and 3 algorithms to choose from. They sit in that ROM there. The signal from the servo comes in nice Teflon coated double, maybe even triple coax, who knows. And those DAC chips they all have their own regulators. And the guy said that you could do it on 3. I don't know how, because the op-amps and DACs need positive and negative voltage. That's 2 regulators, 5 volts for the logic, you know. There's 8 for the input-output board, there's 3 volts, there's so many voltages, but to the point, they use a separate one for each DAC and probably op-amp there, and separate one for hot and cold of both channels, so it's another 4 regulators there. There's also 4 on the power board underneath. They went more audiophile with this unit than before. They actually put some those 4 capacitors on you can use, and I suppose there is more gold plating on the connectors. This time they've used some kind of proprietary, I think this must be also op-amps, and then the standard Burr-Brown ones. These are buffers there, I think. Yeah, they're buffers, buff 634. So Wadia runs 4 channels for hot and cold on stereo there, but also extra 2 channels for the single-ended ones. So these are the single-ended buffers, and these are for the XLRs. And so this must be their proprietary op-amps. The other criticism I copped is that I was showing a silly Spdif curve, which is nice and square. In Wadia, a bit of overshoot, but other than that, you know, I can stop it for a second. You know, but instead of showing RF I pattern, well, to show RFI pattern, I have to remove that board, unplug those XLRs, remove all the screws from the cover, install wiring in appropriate spots, reassemble it all for it to play, show I pattern, and then reverse all that. So it's just too much work, and I pattern is nice, but to know, but it's only relevant to some people. And also Wadia 16 uses standard esoteric both transport, VRDS transport, and servo board is also P700. So you can look up my other esoteric P700s, and there's got to be a I pattern there. What else is there to say? This unit has inputs as well as outputs, and this is why I really bought it, because I can then feed my 2496 FLAC files. The other one on the 1702 chips with 20-bit chips, and you cannot go to 2496 with them. Well, I suppose that's all, folks. Sorry about this yet again incoherent rant. Well, did I need to spend all this money? Well, I felt I could, and why not? You know, I should have a decent CD player. So, and I bought it in Music Room in Erie, Colorado. You can see it's a triple box, and on top of 2 boxes they put a 3rd one.